Hello YouTube vintage stereo collectors, vintage Marantz appreciators. Here's a 2215B. This was a great model. And this is a Canadian version. How can I tell? Metal wood grain top. This is actually some kind of a, like it's in a pleat that's bonded to the metal, it's not painted. Some Kenwoods, for instance, it's a paint that has like streaks put through it. It's a bit of an art to do that. One thing I have to say about these is very easy to tell if it's a 2215B. It has the balance control in the middle, the sliding balance control. This one feels really tight. No squeaking or looseness. There's also, how can I put it, a little bit of rivalry. Okay, and I find it so funny when people take sides and it's like the 2215 is better. No, the 2215B is better. Well, they're not the same receiver. They're close, they're in the same family. The 2215B is a little lighter, simpler boards. Just going to open it up here. Just tip the cover back. You can see inside. If you look at the 2215, it's a little more cluttered inside. There's less wiring on this one, even underneath. Simpler boards. The power amp board is simpler. In my stereo repair days, okay, I had two parts to my career. When I was actually in the business years ago at a stereo shop in the 1980s, and then after I retired from the telephone company and got more into it, I never really stopped working on stuff. It was always a bit of a little sideline hobby, I guess. So I have two perspectives. I saw this equipment when I was 10 years old in the 80s. So this is from 73. And I can tell you at that time, the only thing these came in for was bulbs that were burned out or noisy controls. And so we would do like it was 2250 I believe at the time. We'd clean all the controls, put in new bulbs, do a bench test, out the door. And that's the kind of stuff that he gave to the apprentice. The 2215s that came in were more likely to have noisy transistors. That's what I remember about them, especially in the phone stage and the tone control preamp. I forget which transistors are even in there because it would vary on production. You know, this hard to tell. I'm looking for date codes on some of the caps, not seeing it. This could be anywhere from 73 to 77. What I can say is that now in this era, when I see them, you know, it's the capacitors. This is a cap coupled amp, which gives it, you know, that nice warm sound. All I can say is anybody that says one is better than the other, let's just stop it. They're both excellent, okay? Both excellent. Both have the same Marantz character. I can say about the only downfall of the 2215B is if this balance control has been abused, because it's hard to find a new one. Everything else about it, it's awesome, the gyro tuning. So let's turn this one on to see what it does. Can I put on my headphones? Okay. There's a bit of bass hum. I'm getting some FM, but it's not in the stereo. Don't even have an antenna on it. These do have a good tuner. See how the phono stage sounds. On there. About the only thing I can say, the amplifier is working in it. I'm getting some hiss in both channels. But there is a bass hum and the, what do you ever want to call it, the noise floor, I guess. So that would be the main cap there, 55 volt 3300. Nothing warming up here. Maybe a touch. Oh, there's a resistor there. So the main dial lighting works. It actually looks, the pointer light is out. That's not a big deal. You just have to pull it off the string and flip it over. Put a new bulb. I've actually put LEDs in them as well. Not a big deal. It does have a nice look to it. Where I'm going with this one now is you could spray the controls, put a new bulb in here, and it would likely work fairly well. I would find it hard to live with a bit of hum in the background because this unit should be dead quiet at idle. And it's not even a big deal. To recap this board, it's less than an hour. And they're parts that you can easily order from one of the, wherever you order from. How are we doing for heat here? Ice cold. So we don't have any shorted transistors or anything. It doesn't look like it's ever been touched as far as output transistors go. So, boy, it's such a clean board. The one thing I could say is I'm going to blow it out, wipe it off. I think I might just start recapping it right away. That would be just the best way to go on this one. And then take the knobs off and the faceplate off. Give it a good cleaning. Get behind the dial glass because there's a few little things floating around in there. Just make it look a little nicer. Clean up the gyroscope knob. There's dirt on it just because it's out as a dirt collector. But we can, once we get that off, we can clean it up. We can polish it up. Clean the grooves off here. That's actually rubber. It's still fairly soft. So anyway, that's kind of a plan on these. It's funny how many, okay, I'll put it to you this way. With Marantz's of this vintage, Sansui's of this vintage, Kenwood's of this vintage, and all their ilk, Yamaha of this vintage, I find they're more than likely to work. When I find them, where this has been, whether it's been in the closet or whatever, who knows? It's more likely that it will work than it will not work. It just might not sound so great and need a little bit of tweaking. Anyway, we'll do this in a series and kind of go stage by stage and talk about what I find. Thanks for watching and listening.